holding space. I am passionate about this work. I am even more intent on teaching others, professionals as well as patients, loved ones, and acquaintances, to just be with those who are suffering. I'm certain that's no surprise at this point in my stories. It's hard to do, often because we fear saying something wrong or because of our own discomfort and fears that lead us to shy away from being with grief and pain. The first can cause damage if words are misguided. Words are powerful because they can invalidate, minimize, or in many ways, disregard the person's pain. They can even unintentionally inspire guilt. Yet to say nothing and to not be present is to leave persons feeling abandoned, which can hurt just as badly, if not more. I had a brief medical scare in the fall of 2012 that turned out well, but it was interesting to watch others' reactions and notice the way people can work out their own stuff on someone who is in any form of crisis. I was given unsolicited and usually unwelcome advice that felt condescending, overwhelming, and left me feeling unseen and unheard when it was far off the mark of my situation. I heard lots of opinions about how I should be handling things. I was given cliches and theological platitudes that left me feeling hurt and angry and often blamed. Thankfully, this grief thing is my field, and I could see it all for what it was, well-intentioned. But the misguided things we do to protect ourselves and each other from feeling fear or pain are not helpful. As a professional trained to notice and also to avoid using any of the emotional defense mechanisms we humans can employ to protect ourselves from a real or perceived threat, I recognized and even resembled some of those techniques. I experienced from the receiving end of the situation things that I have said or done professionally or personally when I was a rookie. I've even made these mistakes as a seasoned counselor. Fatigue, stress, and just being human can elicit from any of us well-intentioned but inappropriate comments. My professional training allowed me to feel compassion for the most part and not take things personally, but it wasn't always easy. If there is any pain that we fear or have experienced and not fully processed to healthy resolution, then we are left even more vulnerable to committing such infractions against others. When we encounter a situation with someone else that reminds us of our own vulnerability to that pain or negative experience, we can sometimes make light of, deny, or brush it away because we may feel threatened by their pain and just want it to go away. However well we process our own pain is exactly how well we will be able to respond to the pain of others, or not. I had to remember that truth when folks said things to me that were not what I needed or wanted to hear. I also felt guilty for the times I had committed those errors and realized how truly sad and lonely it feels to be on the receiving end. I began to compile a list of the well-intended but clueless things we say. The following year, I was asked to do a national presentation on grief, loss, and bereavement, a fancy word for the grief process, and knew immediately what I would share. Folks want to know what to say and how to help. I presume goodwill, so I do not believe anyone set out to hurt me. They were simply fumbling through this life thing like all the rest of us. I believe if we talk about the discomfort and challenge ourselves to let go of our verbal security blankets, we can find a different way to do this whole support thing even better. We just need some better tools. So I wrote, how not to unintentionally say something stupid, being with those who are suffering. I have presented it several times. In short, we need to remember that this is the other person's process, not ours. so we should not impose on another's journey. We do not have to, need to, or get to fix it. We can find space within ourselves to just be with what is, most often in silence. If this process is theirs and not mine, and if what is happening isn't really from or because of me, then where do I get to be in this process, and what do I get to do? Most often, I simply get to hold compassionate space with them while they talk and find their way through the pain. Not everyone can accept being so much less than the hero who saves the day. It is definitely a temptation to fly in with cape flapping and make ourselves feel better by taking on that role. Persons often fail to see the power they have by simply being with another in a compassionate way without needing to do anything more than that. I think part of our struggle is that we believe suffering shouldn't happen, and we want to take action to correct it. We protect ourselves from constant fear by telling ourselves on some level that tragedy, illness, and the like will not, should not happen to us. It is a defense mechanism, one that has gone awry. It leaves us vulnerable to disillusionment and resentment when suffering does cross our doorstep. It also makes it hard for us to witness the suffering of others without wanting it to quickly go away. I feel uncomfortable watching you suffer, so I want you to hurry up and feel better so I won't have to face the fact that suffering happens as a natural and often unpredictable part of life. I don't want to feel anxious and out of control. Aside from accepting that life isn't pretty and perfect always, we can also alter our negative perception of suffering. We would love to learn and grow by eating cotton candy and riding ponies at the fair, but that isn't how growth happens. As E.H. Chapin is quoted as saying, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seamed with scars." We can trust that great things can come even from the worst of pains. Most of what I try to teach and increasingly learn to practice myself is to just hold the space, to be with what is and bring a sense of calm and peace first to ourselves and then, hopefully, to the room. Holding is so primitive. A healthy mother instinctively knows to hold her child. If she does not, the child will fail to thrive and will essentially wither away despite ample food, shelter, and hydration. We are designed to need each other. We are pack animals, after all. It is what we most need, and yet it is often what scares us the most, the connection that can comfort pain. We want to reach out, and yet it brings up our own stuff. We can provide presence, sit with silence, follow their lead, avoid cliches and theologizing, and as one wise grief counselor stated, never start a sentence with, "well, at least," because no matter what follows, you are minimizing the griever's feelings. This is something we can learn to do over time. The best way is to practice showing up. Allow yourself to make mistakes, apologize, and then keep getting back up on the horse. In time, the delicate art will be refined, and on most days, you'll find you're able to just be. As the old adage goes, don't just do something, sit there.